Hey everybody, welcome to Q&A Wednesday, where I answer the questions that you might have about your health goals. Now today we are answering the question, why is it so difficult, or why can't I lose weight when I'm stressed? So we're going to talk a little bit about why that happens. When you have one of those variables that you can't figure out because you're doing everything right, you're exercising, you're hitting the gym, you're eating right, but you're just not able to drop the pounds. Of course, you know how I feel about that. I don't believe in losing weight. I believe in losing fat or getting rid of fat. But let's talk about why it's biologically impossible to lose weight when you're stressed out. So let's talk a little bit about that. Your body has a stress response, and it's there for a purpose. It's there because, of course, our ancestors did not live quite the same lifestyle that you and I do, where they really had to search for food, and they lived out in areas where there was a lot of danger. Now, not saying that we never hit those periods, because of course we do. You walk into kind of an interesting part of town, and you might be a little scared that something's lurking around the corner there. We do have a stress response. The problem is, in today's day and age, a lot of us really experience stress on a regular daily basis. We have this chronic low level of stress that's competing for our body's attention when we're trying to accomplish these health goals, right? So it's very difficult for our body to do more than one thing at the same time. And of course, to do it efficiently is a big part of it. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the benefits of this body's stress response. Like I said, it's put there for a reason, and our ancestors had issues with maybe lions and tigers, or even, in the Wild West, and, the bandits would ride into town, whatever. Like throughout history, there's obviously been situations where people were being physically stressed because of some situation in their life. We just don't quite have those same stressors. Our stressors tend to be way more psychological. We're late for work, our car breaks down, our boss is ridiculous to live with, people expect things from us that we just can't, keep up with. Whatever that is, we have a lot more long-lasting, low-lying stress level. Now, of course, part of that depends upon how you mentally perceive those issues, but to most of us, we know that there is some sort of stress in our lives, and it's very difficult to overcome that. So the benefits of a stress response is that your body actually, in a moment of emergency, can drop the things biologically that are unimportant, hey Olivia, like digestion, shuttle all your energy, all your blood to what needs to be utilized, which is your muscles, your speed, your brain for quick processing, whatever. And so things don't get the same amount of focus. But there's a benefit to that, right? You have more energy. You've got that adrenaline response. You have the energy to run. You have quick thinking. There's just a lot that goes on there. So that fight or flight, which is the adrenaline and the cortisol rush, it does benefit for us. If we're in a position of stress, that's a physiological need. Get up and run. Something's happening. What that does is it suppresses functions within your body. So the non-essential at the moment, right? The non-essential functions at the moment, which is your immune system, your digestive system, your reproductive system, right? Nobody's thinking about having babies when they're running from crazy things. So again, there's a benefit to that. But what happens is when that danger is no longer perceived, the body comes back to homeostasis, which means that the cortisol levels come down, the adrenaline, the epinephrine and the norepinephrine, everything comes down, and your body returns to a normal level. The problem is that in this day and age, those stressors tend to be chronic. They never completely go away. So if you're not sleeping at night, and then you're going to a job you hate, and then you're dealing with the fact you don't have enough money to pay all the bills, that stress, and your body doesn't know the difference, really. It responds the same, but it's continually producing that spark of cortisol. What does your body do? It's consistently struggling to run the rest of the processes that need to happen, right? So your digestive system doesn't work efficiently. Your immune system goes down and you get sick. You might have infertility issues. So again, there's a benefit to it. The problem is, in this day and age, we're unable to process that efficiently and realize that this is a psychological issue, and then we need to do something about it. So here's the downside to that. And why this doesn't work for losing weight. There's multiple issues. Number one, when you have that raised cortisol level at all times, technically you can burn more calories, which makes you crave and be hungry for more. Your appetite goes up. So that can be one of the issues there, is that you feel the need to eat more food. And of course, we don't want healthy stuff, right? We're not looking for fish and vegetables. When we're feeling stressed, I don't know about you, but I immediately want chocolate. M&Ms to be exact. So hopefully I don't have any of those at home when I get stressed out. But that's what we tend to do, is we tend to crave high carbohydrate, because that's quick access, quick energy, right? The sugar hits our blood and we're running. The other thing that happens is that your body cannot digest efficiently. Your processes turn off. So you might have some issues. Think about it. I want you to just think about this. I don't think we think about what are we doing when we eat, right? Most of us are like, who cares? We're eating. Our body should process the same. But that's untrue. Our body does not work similarly if we are stressed out. So if you tend to eat at work while you're answering the phone call and you are stressed out, your body is not going to digest efficiently. It's not going to utilize the nutrients as efficiently. You may even have side effects such as bloating. I hear this one all the time. Bloating, heartburn, constipation, diarrhea. Get over it. This is not even TMI. This is part of your body's processes. So again, if you and it can actually lead to IBD, irritable bowel syndrome. So if you tend to have a lot of those dysfunctions when you're eating, you feel bloated after every meal, even when it's a healthy meal. If you're eating while you're stressed, your body is going to have a reaction, and it's not usually going to be a good one if you're eating when you're stressed, or eating on the run, or trying to multitask. There's so much going on in our heads, we can't focus on what we're supposed to be doing. So unfortunately too, the body processes that food differently, and it can cause a lot of inflammation. And we all know that inflammation is a sign of distress within our bodies. Not only that, but prolonged inflammation can also cause things such as cancer. So again, more that we can do to prevent those things, the better off we're going to be, the better we're going to feel, the more energy we're going to have. So I've got a really great quote. I'm always looking for more information. I love reading data, reading research, those kind of things. I know I'm weird, but I found this really great quote, and bear with me because it's going to be a minute, but it's going to tell you one of the biggest issues about chronic cortisol release, okay? So this comes from the book, The Metabolic Approach to Cancer, by Dr. Nasha, I don't know, Winters. Anyway, great book. I got that because I was really interested to see I wanted more information on nutrition when somebody is a cancer survivor, or even within the midst of dealing with cancer issues. Really great book. Read it cover to cover, but this one stood out to me, and so I actually snapped a picture of it, and here's what it says. Okay. There are many symptoms that indicate HPA axis dysregulation and the associated metabolic imbalances that occur in response to long-term cortisol activation. So basically it's talking about, here's the downside to chronic cortisol release in your body. These include fatigue, salt cravings, low libido, thyroid disorders, difficult handling stress, mild or deep depression, PMS, and fertility issues, becoming lightheaded upon standing, poor focus, less enjoyment and happiness with life, anxiety, worsened blood sugar control, increased increased insulin resistance, diabetes, infertility, increased visceral fat, that's belly fat, that's the abdominal fat, the brown fat, decreased immunity, and cancer. Those are all the downsides to chronic cortisol release caused by stress, right? Elevated cortisol has a suppressive impact on the enzyme that converts inactive thyroid hormones into active ones, significantly slowing metabolism and increasing weight gain. You following me so far? When women try literally everything to lose weight but cannot, the usual culprit is high stress. I've seen this. It is metabolically impossible to lose weight when cortisol is high, as our metabolism screeches to a halt. When adrenal glands are in constant state of alarm, the pituitary gland becomes sluggish from overwork. As a result, the reproductive system suffers, leading to low progesterone in women and low testosterone in men, hence the infertility epidemic. What's more, prolonged elevated cortisol also runs down the liver's ability to detoxify, discarded estrogens. So basically you're carrying more estrogen. Those estrogen become overly abundant and circulate back into the bloodstream in a more toxic form. You get it? Chronic stress causes body-wide mayhem. Okay, so that just kind of explains all of it, that your body is just dysregulated in that kind of an instance. And so those of us, and I've just had so many clients that deal with chronic stress. And really, honestly, our body can take so much of it, right? Maybe when we're younger, before we've put our body through all these crazy things, our bodies can handle it. But at some point, and it's different for everybody, it might be in somebody's 30s or maybe somebody's 40s or 50s, your body just becomes tired. And that's where adrenal fatigue and some of those issues come to play. So it makes it really difficult. Notice that there's an increased amount of body fat in the abdominal region, which is visceral fat, which is the bad stuff, guys. That's the stuff that causes diabetes, heart disease. Really, it starts to crowd out your organs. It's a problem. So if you have started to gain around the midsection, that could be a sign that there's more than one thing, but honestly, stress plays a huge role in that. The other thing that is hard about really dealing with a lot of stress is that we tend to make poor food choices because we crave comfort foods. We crave, like I said, nobody craves a green pepper when they're stressed out. We tend to crave something that's comfort food and quick energy, which is usually an ultra processed or highly processed, sugar filled, or something that quickly turns to sugar in your system. So that can be, it's usually carbs, right? You're usually spiking your blood sugar. You're usually, and don't tell me that you don't love sugar if you're eating bread and chips. Those things turn immediately to sugar in your system, and it doesn't care where it comes from. It still counts it as the same. Or alcohol. You know, some people will utilize alcohol just because they need to relax. And I get it. The problem is all of these things combined tend to make it not only difficult to lose weight, burn fat, but it makes it more like you're actually going to gain, right? Because your body is shut down, it's not working efficiently, and it's having to deal with stress. So here's my few ideas and my tips. What can you do? Now, I get it, it's hard. I've talked to multiple people where, you know, maybe their job is their stressor and there's no other option. And I understand that. You know, unfortunately, only you can control the job that you get. If you could find a different job, or if you could find an alternative situation, you know, of course that would be the best option, but that's not always an option for most people. So you gotta figure out where you gotta start saying no, or putting your foot down, or just making some changes that will work for you. And it's going to be different for everybody. I'm really bad at taking time off. I tend to work 7 days a week. I own my own business. I tend to want, I want to grind. However, especially as exampled of last week where I got really sick, I don't get sick until I've just overdone it and my body finally says, hey, you know what, you're done, be down for a week. And it's unfortunate because of course then that's 5 to 7 days that I could do nothing, which means I go stir crazy. But I know my body's limits. I tend to push it until it tells me that it's time to make a change. So I've tried, my goal the past couple of years, even within business, is to take time off, take some days off, take at least 1 or 2 days off a week, take a vacation. It's important. We have to remember self-care. We have to remember that we need time off. We need to relax. I really struggle to hold still. So I personally know that once in a while I have to actually just leave town, whether it's get a hotel room, go stay with friends, whatever, and just take a break, because if I'm home, I tend to be doing something, right? And that's not always good for what I need to accomplish. You have to rest and recover to be able to give your best and to give your all. And moms, remember, if you get on a plane and they talk about when the airbags come down, that you are to put the airbag on yourself first before your child. And while you might think that, no, I've got to save my child, you cannot help other people if you are dead. So the point is, if you want to take care of other people, by all means, please do, but take care of yourself first. Because if you are optimal, then you can do your best to take care of them as well. Number 2, please make your own health a priority. And it's unfortunate that most of us wait until we are extremely ill, something happens, or just something crazy happens to remind us that we have to take care of ourselves. So, if you're working 7 days a week and you're working 10 hours a day and you never take a break because you don't feel like you have the ability to do so, maybe you have bills that are piling up, you can't work at all if you're sick. So you're going to have to figure out what works best for you. Figure out what that self-care is to make you at your best. Got to find a way to relax and get rid of the stress for a while. You got to give your body a break because you already know what happens if you don't. Number 3, don't try to do it all yourself. This is a hard one for me. I'm the mom. I'm the wife. I am the paperwork person of the family. I'm the social media director, whatever you want to call it. Social secretary, that's what it is. You know, sometimes I have to source out. I can't do it all myself, and I know that. So sometimes you might need to have somebody come help you. If you need somebody to clean your house, don't feel like you're a failure, because you're not. The busiest people know how to get things done, but they also know how to delegate, and that's important as well. So keep that in mind. Now, above and beyond that, if you still struggle to find ways to relax or to, even if it's just mentally a time out, maybe you just need 5 minutes a day to breathe. A lot of people talk about meditation and how much that has helped them. That's a great option as well. But you know, if you need more than that, if you need some professional help or the ability to learn new coping skills, which I have personally gone out and done, I've hired a counselor and just said, look, I'm stressed in this part of my life. Please help me to come up with new coping skills so I can deal with it in an effective manner that doesn't, you know, require that I give up everything that I have. So it's okay. Fortunately, I think it's becoming more and more of a norm for people to understand that they may need some professional help in that case. Please don't be offended or afraid to do so. And you don't even have to tell anybody, but if you really need that help, get the help, right? So, hey, I see lots of people jumping on here. Hopefully that was a helpful answer. You know, I think it's one of those things we miss when we're really trying to set health goals and we're not quite reaching where we want to go. It's a variable that we completely forget about, as is the lack of sleep, but that's a topic for another day. So if you guys have any ideas, if you heard something that really helped you, or maybe you know something I didn't talk about, we all need to hear it, right? That's why we do this. So please make sure that you leave a comment below. You can also message me directly at Facebook Messenger. I also get my very best ideas from you guys. This literally came because I've had multiple clients recently. We've had to talk about this. So don't be afraid to ask a question or suggest a topic, because I would be happy to talk about it. I find it fascinating, and you know, as a former school teacher, I love to talk. So have an incredible day, you guys. That is Q&A Wednesday. Have an incredible night. Bye-bye now.